Mailbag time again. Got a few things here. We'll have a look at this very shortly. But these are the interesting bits, I think. Honest, it's not going to be this thing. Don't forget, there'll be links down below in the description if I can give you links to things. In case something here which interests you. This is a USB micro car charger, 5V, 3.5 amp on a micro. I don't think so. Anyway, that's what it says. This is mainly for like dash cams, things like that. It's got this double socket on the back there as well, so maybe that's why it's 3.5 amp, because you can do the double socket and run a dash cam with that. So I thought it would be useful one day. Let's quickly test this, see if it works. I've got this precarious setup here. I've got an adapter here. This is plugged into my electronic load. It's currently generating 5.5 volts with no loading. I've got 14 volts going in. I should probably increase the current on here actually. 2 amps, that's plenty. Let's turn this electronic load on at a low current. Let's start at 500 milliamps. Then we'll crank it up and see what happens. Okay, so let's turn the electronic load on. So with 500 milliamps, it's dropped down to 5.3 volts, which is still quite high. I think 5.3 might be like the maximum spec for USB. Yeah, the voltage is a bit on the high side. Anyway, I could be wrong about that. I don't actually remember. So let's increase the current. Let's go up to 1 amp. That's now dropped down to 4.97 volts. So it's probably going to be 5 volts. Because it's going to be voltage drop through this cables, voltage drop through this stuff. So 5 volts is fine. That'll be right. So 1.5 amps, which I'm really pushing that connector. It's dropped down to 4.6 volts. 2 amps down to 4.2. This will be because of voltage drop. 2.5 is now 3.6 volts. 3 amps is 3.4. 3.5 is now 1 volt. So yeah, I'm really pushing my luck with this connector, and I don't want to melt it thing, but it is actually providing the current. It is there. I'm just getting a massive voltage drop through this little cable, through this little connector and that sort of stuff. So if I plugged up directly to this, maybe it'd be better. It's working. It seems to be capable of doing it, because it's not just cutting off, which is what you normally see with something like this would get overloaded, it just shut off. Looking promising. Just open this up and have a look inside it. So how you open this up, you've got this little piece on the end where the fuse holder is. Yeah, let's get it closer. So you unscrew this. There's like obviously the bit which does it contact. Then you've got this little collar here, which I almost dropped on the floor. You pull this off. That then means you can separate this bit. You can open this end up. Then you've got to try and just follow it down. It'll be clipped together or something somehow, I expect. There we go. And there's not much inside this one. That's in the back of it. What's that chip there? HC2015. Maybe I'll look that up, maybe I won't. So you can see this cable's attached to that. Didn't go through the holes, just went straight to the back of the board. Interesting. So you've got 5 volt output there. So instead of going to those that I should have done, they sold it straight to the board. So this cable's directly in parallel with that connector, so it's not surprising. And the voltage being a little bit high is interesting. Now there's probably a way of trimming this. Now there's not much amount of capacitance in here. 100 microfarad there, 220 microfarad there, so it's not too bad, but it could probably benefit from a little bit more. But you can see it's a big switching inductor. This is a buck converter, that's all it is. So there's probably a way of trimming the upper voltage. So the 5 volt track comes around here. That capacitor is right there. There's another filter cap which hasn't been installed. Then you've got a resistor there. There's 0 volt connection to that chip. So it's switching the negative side, is it? Lots of capacitors and things aren't installed. Yeah, so that's pulsing that. So there must be a feedback. Is that it there? Is that the feedback there? Going to that pin? Possibly. So it should be looking at what it's doing and adjusting its pulses to trim the voltage down. So maybe that feedback isn't quite tuned right. So it might be possible to retrim these resistors here and adjust that feedback. I expect if you really want to, you could trim that voltage down a little bit to get it a bit safer, but you know, 10% over is getting a little bit on the high side. So a while ago I saw some videos on Big Clive, and he had some of these torches. I bought a couple, and I got one for myself and one for my wife. my one keeps on discharging itself. It's rechargeable torches. My wife's one just keeps on going. Hers is still fine, never been charged. I've had to recharge mine about 4 times. Each time I go to use it, it's flat. So, I've got one like my wife's one. It's not as bright, at least it'll work when I actually go to use it. So this is the V2 tube version. It's got USB charging on the side, USB-C. And it's got power. You can blame Ian Johnson for this. He pointed out to me that on Amazon there's a listing for these little brushes because of the video I did about the FarmTech timer, which needed all the solder mask basically redoing because it's all corroded away. I had to rebuild it all, and I put loads of solder mask on it and UV solder mask stuff, and it wasn't particularly even. It wasn't very nicely spread out. He said we could get these little brushes, you know, these little disposable brushes from Amazon. I was thinking, actually, yeah, they'd be a good idea. And so it's cheaper to get these from AliExpress for me because Amazon, I've still got to pay for postage and stuff. So I've got some of these. Just some little brushes which I will use occasionally when I'm doing solder mask on large scale. Yeah. Don't forget, I've still got a big package at the end to do. It's now one of these. Specs 3.5 amps, exactly the same. So in this case it's got a USB mini connector on it. Let's repeat that test we just did with this one, see if it's any different. This time I showed the electronic load instead. So you can see with no loading on, getting 5.3 volts, so this was a bit lower. Certainly happy with this. So loading, current, you don't want that much current. Actually let's go down to 500. So 500 milliamps again, we'll start with that, exactly the same test. 5 milliamps, drop down to 5 volts, that's fine. So 1 amp is 4.7, 1.5 is 4.5, 2 amps is 4 volts there, 4.1, 2.5, 3.8, yep, 3 amps, drops right off. So the voltage drop is looking a bit worse on this one, interestingly. But maybe it's because it's starting off a slightly lower voltage to start with, but it's okay. It's doing it right. Reality, because it's voltage drop to the cable. It's not meant for doing that much current for that little cable. Check this thing out. Okay, these are a bit smaller than I was thinking they were going to be. Right, that wasn't the impression I got, but okay. These are nail brushes. I was expecting to be, you know, that kind of size. That's alright. Yeah, so if you've got like dirty hands and working on things outside in the garage or whatever, you know, nail brush, nothing too exciting. Really cheap. That's probably why they're so cheap, because they're half the size of what I thought they were. But that's okay. I wasn't expecting some toy ones, but they might have other uses too. It might be good for cleaning things, actually. Not just hands. Go on, say something. But it's probably scale again, haven't I?
The one we have still has a thread or two. It's fine. Oh, they're cute. Always read the measurements.
Yes. The more I look at these things, I'm actually thinking they're probably going to be better than like something like this, which I use for when I'm doing cleaning of circuit boards and I've done like repair work. I've got flux everywhere. You know, I'm using this little brush here to try and, you know, disturb it all. Whereas this could probably do a much better job. So I've got a 5-pack, you know, because you always need a spare, right? And so well, this one can go in the bathroom, and the other 4 are for my workbench. Now this isn't technically a mailbag item in the traditional sense where I've purchased something. This has been sent to me. I did a video long ago repairing a CB radio, and this was also sent to me with that radio. I did mention I did receive something else with it. Now the original intention was potentially to try and repair this and see if it's a simple fix, and then send it back with the radio as well. But because of the amount of time I spent with that radio, rather than charging him for my time fixing that thing and sorting that problem out, I just kept this, basically. The guy had already said I could potentially keep this thing anyway, he didn't really need it anymore. I don't know what's wrong with it, I don't know what the issue is exactly, but we'll have a look at this, and this will be a repair video as well, I expect. I got it for nothing, which is great. Obviously, apart from my time I spent trying to fix that CB, which I spent basically half a day on. So I think it's like 5 hours or something like that, fixing that radio up. So this basically paid for my time, rather than charging him money for that. Anyway, here's a clue straight away. Rear panel, okay. Voltage selection, always check that, just assuming that it's right is never a good thing. So you want W and Z for 240 volt, yeah, okay, well it's actually a wider voltage range, it's going to set for higher voltage. But yeah, it's probably a safer one to do, W and Z, yep, okay. So, fairly happy with that. And here it is. It's a counter. UHF frequency counter. Now, there is potentially a third version of this, which is, what's the model number on this thing? 9918. Now, there was another version I did look at, which was, I can't remember the model number now, but it had a channel C option, which goes like 3 gigahertz or something. This doesn't go this high. I don't know what it was exactly, but it was nowhere near that. I think it's just hundreds of megahertz. So you've got a switch cover missing there. That's not a big deal. Can always sort something out for that. Power switch seems alright. You got this reset operate switch. Interestingly, okay. 100 megahertz it says there, and 560 megahertz here. Okay. So low frequency multiplier. Okay, so that's obviously for that thing. Okay, well let's plug this thing in. Actually, I'm going to take the cable off first, have a look inside it. Shall I wait? No, I'm going to tease you guys. Well, I'm not going to do anything with it right now. Wait till I do a video on it. Yeah, I'll do a video on this thing. So watch out for that if you're interested in seeing me try this out, see if it even works. And if it doesn't work, fix it, hopefully. Don't forget to subscribe if you're already subscribed. Also, if you want to see this thing pulled apart and have a look at, then definitely subscribe for that. Patreon support link over there to help me buy test equipment to do repairs on, which is what I really like to do, is buy broken test gear and fix it and make videos about it. I really enjoy doing that. That's my purpose of my channel, really, is the mailbags are sort of just a side quest of that, to keep content running over. And other videos to watch down below there, look in the description for links and things like that. Catch you later.